Sharper Point Commentary, presented by Schwartz Laser Eye Center.
There were a couple of famous formulas for movies that used to be really popular. The road trip movie and the buddy movie. A couple of 80s films that combined those formulas were Thelma and Louise and Midnight Run. Now, we may have an opportunity to turn what'll happen in Texas on Thursday, tomorrow, into a road trip buddy movie called Donnie and Joey Build a Better Border with Their Buddy. But then again, maybe not, because Joe Biden would likely forget his lines and Donald Trump would be constantly bugging the director to give him the most screen time. So even though when President Biden told reporters on Monday that he's planning on going to the border on Thursday and said, quote, "What I didn't know is my good friend is apparently going," referring to Trump, they aren't really pals. They won't be at the same place at the border, and they won't even be on the most important part of the border, here in Arizona, where we've seen the biggest migrant numbers. They'll be in Texas. Political consultant Stan Barnes says it's not a coinkydink, though, that they'll both be there at the same time.
The President of the United States and the former president and candidate are both at the border at the same time. That is not a coincidence.
Something like 7,300,000 undocumented migrants have entered the U.S. since Joe Biden became president. That's more than populate 42 U.S. states and territories. If all of those migrants were to congregate in one U.S. municipality, it would be the second largest city in America. And speaking of cities and migrants,
as long as so-called sanctuary cities like Chicago, New York, and others are struggling and people are witnessing the masses and the money and the disruption and the crime, it's laying like a dead cat at the doorstep in the White House for Joe Biden.
So why is Trump going to the border?
Donald Trump's at the border to make sure everyone sees that dead cat at the doorstep of the White House.
I don't like all this talk about dead pets. There won't be a movie made of it, but guaranteed, when Donald Trump and Joe Biden are at the border, the cameras will be rolling constantly. And while it won't be a movie that's made out of it, you can guarantee there'll be lots of political commercials made out of it, and we'll all be forced to watch.
Thanks for watching Sharper Point. Click to see more from Arizona's Morning News and tap the button in the middle to subscribe.